The topic of the seven seals of the Book of Revelation is an area where a tremendous amount of speculation has taken place between theologians. Many have attempted to pinpoint exactly what and how each of the seals is to be fulfilled. Typically, this means that historicists see this as events surrounding the time of the destruction of Jerusalem around the year 70 AD, while futurists see these events as taking place in some future events. What many theologians tend to miss, however, is the fact that the seven seals are also mentioned in other locations within the scriptures. Specifically, Matthew 24 is the chapter that really helps unpack and translate the seven seals. Perhaps why people miss this correlation is due to the fact that the connection is not immediately obvious when one starts at the beginning of the chapters. But when we begin in the correct location, it becomes very easy to see that these chapters are in fact speaking of the same events, albeit one in symbolic form and the other in literal or plain language. The sixth seal, therefore, becomes the very obvious contact point between the seven seals and the signs that accompany the end of the age, as mentioned by Jesus in Matthew 24. The seventh seal spells out the cosmic disturbances that accompany the return of Jesus, and the beginning of the resurrection and rapture of believers throughout the ages. I have spoken about this in another video, which I'll leave a card above for you guys to check out if you would like, so I won't get bogged down in the details of these events. Instead, the important element to take note of is the fact that the events of the sixth seal correspond with and are perfectly parallel to the cosmic disturbances that Jesus mentions in Matthew 24. Here are the passages side by side for you to compare. Now first, I would like to pay special attention to the fact that in Matthew 24, Jesus says that as lightning flashes from east to west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. This statement is essentially a summary of the following remarks that come immediately after this. That is, the sun turning dark, the moon turning blood red, the stars falling from the sky, and the appearance of the Son of Man on the clouds in heaven are what Jesus means by the Son of Man's arrival being like lightning flashing from east to west. Now the reason why this is so important is because where Jesus says, "Where there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather," this is also reiterated in the following statement, where Jesus says that the angels will be sent out to gather his elect from the four winds of heaven. Translators have translated the Greek word here, aetos, as vulture, because of the fact that carcasses or corpses are mentioned within the context. But in other locations where this word is used, such as in Revelation 4:7, 8:13, and 12:14, the word is always translated as eagle and clearly refers to angels. And this is how this word should be translated here too. The problem is that many theologians misunderstand the word due to their presuppositions and inability to see that Jesus provides a direct interpretation of what he means within the context. The vultures or eagles are angels that are sent out to gather the elect from the four winds of heaven. And the reason why they gather around carcasses or dead bodies is not to eat their flesh like a scavenger bird, but to collect them as they're resurrected. This is the moment that Jesus resurrects his people, at the trumpet call or shofar of God, as Paul stipulates in 1 Corinthians 15:52, and Jesus sends out his angels to gather in all of those raised to eternal life. So if historicists wish to insist, as many preterists do, that Matthew 24, and specifically the cosmic events mentioned here, took place in or around the year 70 AD, then they unwittingly must also logically affirm that the physical resurrection has already taken place, which is a heretical view that places one outside of the faith, as per 2 Timothy 2:18. But more importantly for our topic under discussion today, as I have argued elsewhere in my videos, the breaking of the seals is for the opening of the Lamb's Book of Life, which is what the scroll or book with 7 seals upon it is. And when these seals are broken, this provides all of the names written upon that scroll that are to be resurrected and translated into eternal life with imperishable bodies. And it is the sixth seal that runs parallel to the cosmic disturbances mentioned in Matthew 24. It is here that Jesus arrives, breaking open the seals of the scroll, and with the sixth seal broken, he now returns to gather all of his people. And simultaneously, the sun will be turned dark, the moon will go red like blood, and the stars will fall, as the nations cry out to the mountains to hide them from the wrath of the Lamb. Now, the fact that the sixth seal and the events that are associated with the return of Jesus are one and the same is easy enough to comprehend here, this being due to the very obvious usage of the same terms, sequences, and even the events. However, there is much more to the correlating and parallel nature of these two chapters than first meets the eye, and this is the very exciting component. Working backwards from the sixth seal, going all the way from the sixth seal to the first, we have a series of events that take place. To summarize them quickly, they appear in the backwards order as follows. As mentioned, Seal 6 consists of the return of the Lord to resurrect his people at the cosmic disturbances. Seal 5 features numerous souls of those killed for the faith in the Lord appearing before the throne of Yahweh in heaven. Seal 4 features many being killed by the sword, famine, plague, and by beasts of the earth. Seal 3 sees great famine killing many due to what appears to be inflationary economic pressures. Seal 2, when broken, results in many being slain by war. And finally, the first seal features a conqueror going forth to conquer. Now, when coming to Matthew 24, and when we also work backwards from the cosmic disturbances at the return of Jesus, a very strong parallelism begins to unfold. Just as the fifth seal states that there will be numerous Christians killed, so too the event that comes just prior to the cosmic disturbances is the Great Tribulation, in which many believers are killed. Then, just prior to this, Jesus mentions the other elements of the six seals in corresponding order: famine, plague, wars, and much death, with the first corresponding aspect being the appearance of false Christs. In other words, what we bear witness to here is Jesus providing his people with the correlating elements to the seals that he also gives within the book of Revelation. And because of this reason, it is helpful to view them side by side, this being due to both chapters providing contextual insight into the other. And now that you know this, I would be curious to know if you have found any interesting correlations between the two chapters. If you have, then please let us know in the comment section below so that we can all learn from your own insights.